What up? It's pretty icy, but it's a beautiful day here in the neighborhood. It's like 30, 31 degrees. I think it's 31 at this point. It's probably like 8:30, maybe a little bit past that. But I've been out here for a little while. I already went around once, doing it again. And I was thinking about, like I don't like to necessarily say that I'm in recovery because, I guess what they call it is a California sober or whatever. I don't really like that term, but like they invented weed or something. But, you smoke a couple times a day towards the end of the day, but sometimes in the morning. Who am I kidding? I gotta be honest with me, right? But anyway, it's not all day. It's not like, and when I'm like intensifying my exercise routine, I wait till the end, like 6 o'clock. But, I was thinking about my avenue into recovery, and like, I know that I'm not immune to going back, but even though I don't go to AA or NA or anything like that, I was court ordered when I was like 13, and then, I went years later. I had some success with it, but never anything super long term, I just wasn't ready, I don't think, and I'm not saying like right now that I'm cured, I'm like freaking Alex on Clockwork Orange at the end. But one thing that they did say in AA and NA is, keep it in 24, right? And Buddhism as well, right? I was meditating at some Buddhist temples and stuff, and, especially, just learning how to do the stuff. And they said the same thing, it's like, you don't have to focus on the journey, you focus on the first step in front of you. And I keep that in the day, I keep that in a 24-hour cycle. And, I still falter, not with like dope, or I'm terrified of this shit, with all the fentanyl deaths and all that crazy shit, that shit, I fell out a few times on that shit, and I don't even know how I came back some of those times, because I was by myself, and then other times I got fucking Narcan by strangers. Luckily I was in a high drug area, I guess, luckily and unluckily, right? And I also Narcaned people in that same area, in Dunkin' Donuts bathrooms, all kinds of shit. That was like after 2014, excuse me, you could barely get just regular heroin. That sounds crazy, right? Because heroin used to be like, you do heroin? Now they're like, well, I mean, at least you're not doing fentanyl. But everybody's. All I'm saying is I'm not immune to falling off. So I do things every day and focus on today to help keep me from doing that. Like I never thought that exercise would be one of my routines that I got into. In recovery, and it took a 2.5 years before I really started actually exercising, and then like last year in the spring I really stepped it up, and I've been going strong. This is so again another walk and talk of no excuses for 2024, and it's January 14th, right? Another day. It was pretty cold when I got down here, but now once you go through it once, you're pretty warm, and then but yeah, I just that's why I don't really. I mean, I learned I learned a lot in recovery, and this time I had to, I went cold turkey, because by the time I got to this outpatient program that I went to, it had been 4 days with no dope. So basically I was physically fine, right? Like, I wasn't really feeling terrible, I mean, I wasn't great, but I didn't feel, as bad as I probably should have. And then they put me on Suboxone for a while. But I've tried all other routes too. I tried methadone, cold turkey, just meetings, prayer, meditate, all kinds of stuff, And and I seem to be having the greatest results now. But you know, again, it's because I was ready, I guess. You know, I had been setting my intention for almost a decade. Like, you need to stop, at least since 2014, you know, when everybody started dropping with the fentanyl, myself included. My roommate, he died, you know, I found his dead body. And my dad, you know, I mean, he had other issues, but, you know, he was on dope at the end, you know what I mean? And he hated that shit back in the day. But anyway, so I know I'm not, you know, immune to falling off, but I keep it in today, you know what I mean? What can I do today? And this is one of the things that I do. I've said it before, you know, I averaged out how much time I would spend in a day procuring drugs, and it was, you know, beside the money part, it was like 4 hours a day if you averaged it out, right? I get out here, hour and a half, at the least amount an hour, you know what I mean? Like, every day. I mean, I haven't missed a day in quite some time, but you know, there's times where I will, and but this is just one of those things that's helped me keep my momentum going, you know, because sometimes that willpower wasn't there. Oh, that was the thing that I wanted to say, because in the beginning, you know, like, I had shaken the physical ailment of the, you know, physical need of the dope, but like the mental and all that shit, like, I was still, you know, obsessing over it. And then, you know, I did this program called Better Life Partners, which is an outpatient program, but you would get drug tested once a week, you know, and then, you know, they'd give you a little script for whatever your Suboxone is for the week, you know, and then you had to do a group every week. And so I did that for a good 2.5 years, but I didn't do the Suboxone the whole time. I quit the Suboxone about 1.5 years. About a year into it, like, I really cut down, like, a lot, you know. And even from the get-go, I didn't really take all of what they prescribed me. I just kind of had it on hand for emergency, right? Because I knew if I took a bunch of them, I would get a little feeling, you know, but I just didn't do that really, unless I was really having an issue, you know, like, it's either going to be that or I'm going to go get some dope. And so I did that for about a year, maybe a little over a year, but I tapered off to nothing. And I didn't want to get tossed out of the group, so I just kept saying that I was doing it, you know, that I was still on it. And then finally I got honest with them, and, you know, kind of ended my tenure there. But, you know, at that point I was doing well. I didn't have daily cravings. My mental was good. And then I started working on my health, you know, exercising and shit. And like, that's propelled me to this point now, you know, and my mind's starting to fire correctly. I mean, you know, comparatively speaking, I do identify as normal, so, you know, you're gonna have to give me my affirmation on that, whether you believe me or not. I identify as normal. But anyway, so day 14 of No Excuses for 2024, January 14th, and you know, I'm still doing my thing, and I don't know, I just wanted to share that with people, you know, 'cause, like, I guess what my point was, I don't think I ever got to the point, was I needed some help in the beginning, you know. And I'm not saying I don't need help now. I mean, I don't go to AA and NA, but, you know, I do talk with people in my shop a lot. I got a lot of guys in recovery that come in, and, you know, we shoot the shit about that and how they're doing and stuff. And, you know, it always worries me when one of them disappears for a while, and sometimes they're all right, and sometimes they're like, next time I see them is right when they're getting out of jail, you know. A lot of the people that I was going to my group with, they all, not all, but probably 95% of them relapsed and going in and out of jail. Some of them probably dead because I don't see them anymore. And, you know, I don't know what, you know, that to me, that scares me. So, you know, and it's sad, you know, so I don't know what to say about it. And, you know, it's just, I try to talk with the ones that are faltering, and the ones that are doing really good. You know, we celebrate our wins, you know, and we don't beat ourselves up over our losses, you know, especially most of them, if we're not relapsing, is small losses, you know. I mean, there's some big losses too, but when you hold your shit together and you don't use your old crutch, you know, that I used for decades, alcohol, drugs, women, you know, it means something to you, you know. You can you can stand tall knowing that you faced the adversity and didn't falter on that, you know? Maybe you smoked a cigarette, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and I tell myself that about cigarettes too. I'm like, well, you know, at least it's not blah, blah, blah. But, you know, they hurt my chest. I feel them, you know, after I've been doing it for a minute. But at first it's like, oh, I forgot why I quit. You know, but if you made it this long, like, subscribe, and share. Just a Kid from Cambridge on YouTube, right? Check that out. But anyway, like, and I appreciate you. But if you're struggling, man, reach out. You know, sometimes it's all you need is a sympathetic ear, you know, or empathetic ear. Fuck sympathy, right? No sympathy. But you know, let's. You can also reach out and talk to people about solutions. You know, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, how'd you get through this? Have you been through this? You know, how do you navigate that BS? You know, what should I do? You know, yada yada yada. Should I react? Should I not react? You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything, man. You know? And today's the only day we got. The Buddhism, you know, whether people like Buddha, and all I'm saying is, you know, had some pretty good wisdom. And, you know, today's all we got. Yesterday's gone, right? Yesterday's failures and gains are both gone, right? I mean, hopefully you successfully made it through your day and you have some gains that you can still live on today, but today's struggle's today's struggle. Don't worry about tomorrow's struggle. You can think about stuff here and there and be like, all right, I'm going to do this and this today to make that possible, right? So, I don't know. If you thought this video was helpful, you know, give me a thumbs up. And it's fucking 12 minutes long. No one's ever going to see it. Peace.